I never expected her to panic when I said I'd be going. Usually, Melissa barely glanced up when I mentioned family event. Her responses were casual, sometimes distracted, often indifferent. But the second I told her I planned to attend her sister Jenna's birthday party, her spoon stopped midair. "Wait," she said. "Why?" That wasn't the reaction I anticipated. I furrowed my brows. "Why not? It's Jenna's 32nd. I missed the last one." She looked away, chewing her lip with a nervous energy I hadn't seen in years. "It's just going to be a lot of girls. Her friends. Old coworkers. You'll be bored." "Bored at a party with free drinks and bad dancing? Never." Melissa laughed, but the sound died quickly. She reached across the counter, her fingers brushing mine. "I don't think it's a good idea." "Why not?" She hesitated, then whispered, "Jenna's introducing someone." I raised an eyebrow. "Okay. Someone you don't need to meet." Now I was intrigued. "Someone dangerous?" "Not dangerous. Just trouble." I leaned back. Melissa's eyes darted around the kitchen, searching for a lifeline, an excuse, an explanation. None came. I had known her for 10 years, 6 married, and I could read her without trying. Something wasn't right. She didn't want me at that party, and it had nothing to do with Jenna's guest list. She turned her back to me, rinsing a coffee cup that didn't need rinsing. I watched her spine, straight as a ruler, rigid with tension. "Melissa," I said softly, "are you trying to hide something?" "No." "Then let me come." She dropped the cup. Porcelain shattered in the sink, but she didn't flinch. "Please," she said. Her voice trembled. "I'm asking you not to go. There are moments in life where instinct overpowers reason. This was one of them." Her fear, her desperation, her shaking hands, it was all too much. I needed to know why. "I'm going," I said. Melissa didn't respond. She just walked out of the kitchen, and the door to our bedroom shut with finality. I showed up to the party 3 nights later, alone. Jenna's place was a high-rise loft downtown, bathed in lavender lighting, the bass of some deep house track vibrating the walls. Dozens of people filled the space. Friends, strangers, bodies moving like liquid in tight dresses and tailored jackets. "Hey, stranger." Jenna grinned when she saw me. She looked just like Melissa, only sharper, like a knife to my wife's velvet. Her black dress clung to her like sin. "Happy birthday," I said, pulling her into a hug that lingered half a second too long. She whispered into my ear, "I was hoping you'd come." The tone wasn't casual. Jenna led me through the crowd, her fingers brushing my wrist as if she didn't quite want to let go. Every few feet, people called her name, offered gifts, raised glasses. She smiled at them all but kept her eyes on me. When we reached the private balcony, she handed me a drink already prepared. "Whiskey. 2 cubes." I raised an eyebrow. "You remembered." She leaned against the railing, her hair blowing back, the city lights painting gold on her bare shoulders. "You look good," she said. "You look dangerous." "Even better." For a moment, silence stretched between us, thick and unspoken. I broke it. "Why didn't Melissa want me here?" Jenna sipped her wine, her lipstick staining the rim. She tilted her head, watching me the way a lioness watches a limping deer. "Maybe she's afraid." "Of what?" "Me." The way she said it left no room for confusion. Jenna wasn't hiding anything. She wasn't playing coy. She was making a move, and she wanted me to know. I stepped back. The air felt charged, like just before a thunderstorm. "What are you doing?" "Nothing yet." She smiled. "But I will." I didn't leave the party early. I didn't stop drinking after 2. I didn't avoid the way her hand grazed mine when we reached for the same shrimp skewer, or how her laugh slipped into a purr when she leaned close enough for me to smell her perfume, something floral, thick with night-blooming jasmine. And I definitely didn't stop her when she led me to a quiet hallway near the guest bathroom, far from the crowd. She was right, I murmured, my voice low, edged with something I hadn't felt in years. Jenna leaned against the wall, her silhouette glowing in the dim light. About what? Your trouble. Her fingers curled around my tie. Only if you want me to be. I stared at her lips, her throat, the way her chest rose with each breath. This was Melissa's sister. This was forbidden. And I had never been more tempted in my life. I didn't kiss her that night. But I wanted to. I left the party with shaking hands, my mind drunk on everything but alcohol. When I got home, Melissa was asleep on the couch, a throw blanket tangled around her legs. She looked peaceful, innocent. I knelt beside her, brushing a strand of hair from her cheek. Her eyes fluttered open. You went, she whispered. I had to. Tears welled up in her eyes. I told you not to go. Why? She hesitated, then said the quiet part out loud. Because I knew she'd want you. I sat back. Her voice cracked. She's always wanted you. Since the beginning. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought you'd say no. I looked away. I couldn't admit that I hadn't said no. Not yet. Melissa reached out, touching my hand. Please don't see her again. But my silence said everything. Over the next week, I couldn't stop thinking about Jenna. She hadn't texted. Hadn't called. She didn't need to. She was a storm cloud hanging over my every thought, crackling, waiting, patient. Then came the message. You left too early. I wasn't finished with you. Just like that, the ground beneath my marriage cracked. The guilt was immediate, followed closely by something worse. Anticipation. Melissa was unusually affectionate that week. She cooked my favorite meals. She kissed my forehead in the morning before work. She wore the blue silk nightgown I hadn't seen in over a year. But I couldn't look her in the eyes. Every time I tried, I saw Jenna leaning against that wall in her slithering black dress, inviting me with that smirk that knew too much. Melissa's warmth began to feel like a weight. Her kindness chains. The more I tried to talk myself out of going, the clearer one thing became. I wasn't fighting for my marriage. I was just afraid of the fire. And I wanted to burn. Friday night came too fast. Melissa sat on the edge of our bed brushing her hair, soft and slow. You going out? Tom invited me for a drink. Just a couple hours. She nodded. Tell him I said hi. I will. She smiled. God, she smiled. She had no idea. Or maybe she did. Maybe she knew what I was becoming and loved me anyway. Maybe that was the worst part. Jenna's apartment wasn't far from where the party had been, but this place was hers alone. Sleek, modern, and cold, white marble floors, chrome finishes, windows so tall they swallowed the skyline. When she opened the door, she didn't speak. She wore a crimson robe tied loosely at her waist, nothing underneath. Her bare leg slid through the slit like a blade. She turned and walked inside without a word, expecting me to follow. I did. The door clicked shut behind me. She poured wine. The glasses were already chilled. She'd planned this. She didn't even ask if I was coming. She knew. You always come when you're not supposed to, she said, handing me the glass. Bet that's a theme with you. I didn't answer. My hands were already shaking. You think this is wrong? She asked, stepping closer. You think Melissa deserves better? She whispered Melissa's name like it was a sin. Don't talk about her. Jenna grinned. Why not? She's the one who kept you locked up all these years. I'm just letting you breathe. You don't know anything about us. I know she begged you not to come to my party. I know she warned you about me. And I know you didn't care. Her hand touched my chest. You came anyway. I grabbed her wrist. Stop. She leaned up, her lips grazing my jaw. Say it again. Stop. But I didn't let go. And neither did she. We kissed. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't sweet. It was years of repressed hunger exploding in a single, desperate collision. We tore each other apart. Her robe hit the floor. My shirt ripped under her nails. The marble floor was freezing, but her skin was fire. I lost time. Lost breath. Lost myself. Jenna moved like she'd memorized every weak part of me. She bit, scratched, laughed into my neck. When I whispered Melissa's name, she pulled my hair and said, "Not here. Not now." And I listened. Afterward, I sat on the edge of her bed, my body covered in sweat and guilt. She lit a cigarette. "You regret it?" "Yes." She laughed. "You'll be back." "I won't." "You already have." I drove home in silence. Melissa was asleep again. Same couch, same blanket. I stood over her for a long time. She looked younger in sleep, untouched by the storm outside our walls. I wanted to fall on my knees, confess, beg, anything. Instead, I showered. I scrubbed my skin until it turned red. But I couldn't wash her off. The next morning, Melissa made pancakes. She danced in the kitchen to an old Motown song, flipping batter with a grace I had forgotten. "You okay?" she asked. "You're quiet." "Rough night," I mumbled. "Tom keep you late?" "Yeah." She kissed my cheek. "Next time tell him to come here. I miss him." I forced a smile. "Sure." Jenna texted again 2 days later. "You left your cufflink. I'll hold it hostage." I didn't answer. So she sent a photo. Her, naked in bed, holding the cufflink between her teeth. "I'm not done with you." I deleted the message. Then pulled up her contact. My finger hovered over block for a long time. I didn't press it. Melissa planned a weekend trip. Just the two of us. A cabin, a lake, no reception. "I thought we needed time alone," she said. "Away from everything. From everyone." I agreed. But the entire time we were gone, I was haunted. By her laugh. Her skin. Her voice in the dark. When we came back, Jenna was waiting. Not at our house. At my office. She walked in like she owned the building. She wore sunglasses, heels, and a trench coat she didn't bother buttoning. "Can't stay away, huh?" she said. "What are you doing here?" I hissed. "Checking on my favorite mistake." This was a one-time. She cut me off with a kiss. Right there. In the hallway. Colleagues walked past. No one said a word. She pulled back and whispered, "One time is never just one time." Then she left. That night, Melissa waited for me with candles and wine. She had no idea I'd just kissed her sister in front of 3 coworkers. She had no idea I was lying through every breath. We made love that night. Slow. Careful. Tender. I closed my eyes and tried to feel only her. But I saw Jenna. And it ruined everything. Later, in the dark, Melissa asked, "Are we okay?" "Of course." "Promise." "Yes." But I didn't. Because I didn't know who I was anymore. Or who I wanted. I never replied. Not once. But I read every word. And I imagined her voice saying them. Then the photos started again. In the bath. In lace. In mirrors. She was relentless. One morning, she sent a video. A slow, sensual recording of her slipping my cufflink between her thighs. I nearly dropped my phone. I nearly crashed my car. I tried to fight it. I told myself it was over. That I had escaped. Then came the night she showed up at my gym. Melissa had been talking about getting me back into shape. "Let's be sexy in our 40s, she'd teased. So I'd started training again. One late session, drenched in sweat, I walked into the locker room and found Jenna sitting on the bench like she owned it. "Nice form," she said, eyes devouring me. "This has to stop." She stood. "You said that last time. Then you let me ride you like a memory." I stepped back. "Go home, Jenna." She walked toward me, slow, deliberate. "You don't even live at home anymore. You just exist there." Her lips brushed my jaw. "But here? With me? You're alive." I kissed her again. I don't know why. Maybe because I wanted to punish myself. Maybe because part of me wanted Melissa to find out. Maybe because the line between hate and want is razor thin. We didn't even leave the locker room. The next morning, I stood in the shower for almost an hour. Melissa knocked. "You okay in there?" "Just tired," I lied. She opened the door anyway, stepping in with a towel wrapped tight. "You look pale." "I'm fine." She reached for my back. "Let me." When her hands touched the scratches Jenna left, she froze. I held my breath. She didn't say a word, just slowly pulled away. That evening, the silence at dinner was louder than sirens. She pushed vegetables around her plate. I watched her try to find something in the space between us. Finally, she spoke. Have you ever thought about what happens when a person breaks twice? I looked up. Once is hard, she continued. But twice? That second time shatters whatever glue was left holding them together. Melissa. She shook her head. No. Don't lie. I can smell it on you. She stood. Her chair scraped across the tile. I just haven't decided yet if I hate you more, she swallowed. Or her. She left the table. Left me with a half-finished meal and a gut full of shame. 2 days later, Jenna showed up again. At the bookstore this time. I was browsing in a back corner, trying to disappear. She stepped into the aisle like a vision in a cream trench coat and blood-red heels. You're avoiding me. I didn't answer. She stepped closer. Tell me what she said. She knows. Jenna smiled. So what now? I closed the book. Now we end this. She snorted. You think this is something you can end? I have to fix things. You can't. She stepped closer, her hand pressing against my chest. You've already burned the bridge. You just haven't admitted you liked the fire. I grabbed her wrist. We were never going to last. She tilted her head. But doesn't that make it even better? I turned and walked out. This time, I didn't look back. I told Melissa everything that night. Every moment. Every kiss. Every lie. She didn't cry. She just listened. And then she stood up and said, Leave. I did. I stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks. She didn't call. She didn't text. And I didn't chase. For the first time in years, I sat with my own filth. I missed the way she stirred coffee. The way her socks never matched. The way she looked when she brushed her teeth and danced to old R&B. Jenna texted. You're free now. Come home. Let me be what she wasn't. I blocked her. Finally. One night, I came home to drop off some paperwork. Melissa was there. Packing. I'm leaving, she said without looking up. Where? My sister's. I laughed. Not out of humor. Just shock. That's where you want to be? She zipped her suitcase. No. But it's the one place where no one will expect me to be okay. She looked at me then. Not with rage. Not even sadness. Just disappointment. You know what the worst part is, she whispered. You let me believe I was safe with you. You let me build everything around a man who had no idea what love was. I loved you. You loved comfort. And I was comfortable. I reached for her hand. She pulled away. I hope you remember what it felt like to lose someone who actually believed in you. Then she left. The house felt like a tomb after that. The air was thick with what once was. I stopped shaving. Stopped sleeping. I stopped answering calls. One night, months later, I saw Jenna again. In a grocery store. She looked the same, flawless, dangerous, radiant. She saw me. Smirked. You look like hell. I feel worse. She touched my arm. You miss me? No, I said quietly. I miss me. The version of myself before you. She laughed. You were always mine. Even when you didn't know it. I walked away. This time, she didn't follow. Later that week, Melissa sent a single text. Don't worry. I'm not staying at her place anymore. Turns out we were both in love with the same lie. That one broke me. Because it meant she had spoken to Jenna. It meant they'd compared notes. It meant there was no part of me left she hadn't seen, and judged, and discarded. I wanted to be angry. At Jenna. At myself. But there was no room for anger. Only emptiness. Only ache. Only the quiet echo of a love I didn't deserve. Months passed, but time didn't soften the edges. It sharpened them. I returned to a house that wasn't mine anymore, filled with echoes of a life that had slipped between my fingers. The couch still had her imprint, the bathroom her perfume, the closet a faint scent of her shampoo that refused to vanish. I didn't just lose Melissa. I lost the version of myself that made sense. I saw her once more. By accident. She stood in line at a corner cafe, wrapped in a beige coat, scarf twisted around her neck. She looked better. Lighter. I stepped back, ready to leave before she noticed me. But she turned. We locked eyes. I expected fire. A slap. But all I saw was calm. She stepped forward slowly, latte in one hand, a soft nod as if we'd only ever been neighbors. Hi. Hi. I cleared my throat. You look good. She smiled faintly. So do you. Lie. We both knew it. Still with her? She asked gently. No. She didn't seem surprised. Wasn't built to last. I never stopped loving you, I blurted out, ashamed. I know, she said. That was the problem. You thought love was enough. Her words stung more because they didn't carry venom. They were just truth. I thought about fighting for us, I said. You didn't, she replied. You thought about missing me. There's a difference. We stood in silence, two broken puzzle pieces from different boxes. I wanted to ask if she missed me. If she ever thought about our Sundays on the couch, her head on my chest, movie credits scrolling by. But I didn't. She looked at her coffee. I'm seeing someone. I nodded. Is it serious? Not yet. But he doesn't lie. That one was a clean punch to the gut. She gave a soft smile, stepped around me. No hug. No goodbye. Just distance. Final. Jenna tried one last time. I found her on my doorstep one night, drenched in rain, mascara running down her cheeks like ink on parchment. I made a mistake, she whispered. I didn't mean to ruin everything. You didn't, I said quietly. I did. She clutched my shirt. Let me in. I pulled her hands off me like dead weight. Go home, Jenna. I don't have one, she said. Neither do I replied. She kissed me. I didn't kiss back. That silence between our lips said more than any fight ever could. I spent the next year rebuilding the parts of myself I'd ignored. Therapy. Reading. Long walks alone. I stopped seeking forgiveness. Started seeking understanding. And in that process, I learned something brutal and necessary. Lust is a spark. But love? Love is a daily decision. A quiet choice. A loyalty even when no one's watching. And I had failed at it. I moved to a smaller place. Painted the walls soft gray. Started cooking again. Volunteered on weekends. Melissa never blocked me. She didn't need to. The wall she built was stronger than silence. It was acceptance. She'd made peace with the pain. And I was still learning how to sit with mine. One Sunday morning, I got a letter. No return address. Handwritten. Neat. I recognized her handwriting before I even opened it. I hope you're better now. Not because I want you back, but because I want to believe. We both grew up from this wreckage. You were my favorite lie. I was your favorite home. Don't build another unless you plan to stay. M. I folded it carefully, placed it in a drawer I rarely open. Because some wounds deserve a space of their own. Not to forget, but to remember who we were. And who we could have been. People always ask if I regret it. The affair. The lies. The loss. And the truth is complicated. I regret hurting her. But I don't regret what it taught me. Because sometimes you have to burn the whole house down to realize where the fire started. And now I finally know. It wasn't her. It wasn't even Jenna. It was me.